You are listening to the Awakened Radio Network. Online radio all the time.
phone with you. So there's many, many ways to connect. And as I always talk about, connection is part of the new way. So we need to start practicing connecting with each other and start sharing ourselves and start getting out of the old ways of being where we hide because we think we're not good enough. We think that what we have to share is not, nobody wants to listen to that. There's all these old beliefs that are so limiting and so tight and unkind and restricting. You can start recognizing the old paradigm as an energy that wants to hold you back, that keeps you in a place of smallness, of separateness, limitation, not good enough, all these things that we keep fighting and trying to change and try to get rid of and resist, right? That is the old energy. And my dear, dear friends, you and I are done with that. And that's what we need to share with each other. Every time something is exposed inside, like when I get insights, when I see things in myself that are old, and when I feel the new wanting to come through, that's what I share here on this show, because I know that all of us can relate to this. And part of the old energy, that old blanket we've lived under, or that veil, is that, we don't feel okay sharing that, and we doubt that, right? We doubt that wisdom. Boy, can you relate to that? Doubting what you actually know is true? Isn't that sad? We have all this amazing, wonderful wisdom inside. And because we still are identified with this old energy, we doubt it because the old energy wants to have front stage. It wants to play the main role because that's what it's been doing for a long, long time. And it's not ready or willing to just give up its role or its expression. But the way and what happens then is that we start fighting it and resisting it, and then we get stuck in that old energy because we're really participating and engaging with it, and we feed it, right? You get this battle going inside of yourself. You can probably relate, right? When you really resist something and you're battling with something inside of you, and it feels like a knot and tension and discomfort. All that is still part of the old energy. Resisting is part of the old energy, and we can leave it behind. It is really okay. The more you and I share that with each other, the easier it will be to leave it behind and start trusting what is underneath, because it's not going to go away. This energy is here to stay, period. Whether you start enjoying that energy right away, or if you want to start battling a little bit longer in the old energy, that is the choice of your own experience. But the energy is here for all of us to participate in. So that's where we are. It's like I see it sometimes as if this big wave is coming in, a new wave, right, in the ocean. I often use the ocean as metaphors for what I talk about. So imagine this big wave is coming in. It's very new, fresh energy, right? It's a new wave. It's got new energy. And in order for that to go in, the old one that came in before that is on its way out. Now, if we identify with the old energy and either hang on to it by believing that this is true, or if we fight it because we don't like it anymore, right? Which energy, which wave are you in if you are believing it or fighting it? Right? You're in that old energy. You're stuck in it. So what we need to do is like jump ship here, jump wave. We need to leave the old behind and get on the new one that's coming in. So instead of going, under with the old one that is going out and under, right? It's going back out. It's on its way out. It's on its way out. Where am I repeating myself here? It really is on its way out. And the new one is on its way in. It's up to us which wave we want to surf. And the old one is going out and under. It's dying. So if you want to hold on to that, either by believing it or by resisting and battling it, you're going to go down with it. But you don't have to. You can simply jump wave. As the new is coming in, you just make a shift and you jump on the new and you go on the ride in, and you're excited because we do not know what this new one is going to do or what it's all about until we have jumped wave and are on the new wave, and then we can go and like, oh wow, there's all this new energy and there's so much inspiration, there's love, there's light, and here all the drops are doing it together. We're playing as we're going in, and it's just so different. So I want to invite all of us, and that includes me. I still have my little identities with the old wave, but it's getting less and less. And the more of us who get in on the big new wave, the easier we can surf in together and bring it to shore and bring it in here in the third dimension, where there's going to be a whole new wave experiencing life in this dimension. We have to remember, we are here in the third dimension, and the new energy probably has some higher dimensions with it, and that's what we're going to bring here to the third dimension, so we can start help raising this dimension into a higher vibration and a higher frequency, which is what's going to be so much more enjoyable. So there you have it, my friends. We are on the way in. And that's not really what I wanted to talk about. But, when I open my mouth sometimes, I'm just wondering what's going to come out. And normally when I prepare for these shows, the night before, the evening before, or the day before, I just sit down and I just go inside and ask, what wants to be shared on the show today. And I just listen, and usually I get some inspiration, whether I'm meditating or running or whatever I'm doing, cooking. Suddenly it just comes like this download, like, oh, that's so great. Yeah, I'll talk about that. And yesterday that didn't happen. And it was, normally I put a little blurb on Facebook so that people know what we're going to talk about today, so you can know if you want to join in. But nothing came, so I thought, okay, well, I'm not going to write anything, just from my mind, just to say something. I'm just going to wait. Which, by the way, is part of the new wave. You don't just make up things, or you don't just go to your mind to put something out there. You just wait. You just wait till it comes from within. And it's that same wave we're talking about. You just wait for the wave to inform and inspire you. And sometimes if there is nothing, well, then you just don't do anything. And I was actually curious if anything was going to come today, because there was just nothing. It's like, okay, well, maybe there won't be a show, or maybe we'll do a rebroadcast. I really didn't know. And that's, how I live my life. And then in the middle of the night, it was interesting. I woke up, I had a dream, and I was really, really angry in the dream. And I am not angry very often. It's rare. It certainly happens. But here in a dream, I was really upset. It was something about a dentist, because I've had some dental work done. And that might even be what has triggered some anger. Maybe something had been stuck in my jaw that's opening up right now. So there could be many things. But my experience really was that I woke up really angry at this dentist, because I had paid him a lot of money for this work he was going to do, and he was just doing a lousy job. The teeth broke and things just fell apart, and he was very irresponsible, and he didn't want to take responsibility for it. And I said, you know what? I have paid all this money for this. I mean, I was really angry in the dream, and I thought, this is not okay with me. And so then I woke up and I thought, wow, what is this about this anger? So first I thought, oh, it's probably because I had this work done on my mouth and the jaws, and it may just be opening up something. So as you know about me probably by now, I allow. I don't resist. I allow. So I just allowed this feeling of anger to be here so I could listen to it, right? That's the next step in the all formula: allow, listen, and love. And so I just listened to this anger and I was like, what is going on here? And it was very much about how unfair this was and how it was absolutely not okay with me. And, there are times in dreams where other people in your dream are just representations of yourself, because the dream is, of course, all about yourself. But in this specific dream, I just got this strong feeling that this was about really owning this powerful energy we call anger, because something was not right. There was something not right about the situation. So I listened to that, and then from that, I just got this whole download about what I wanted to talk about today. So you just never know, I don't expect when I go into meditation asking spirit, what do you want me to talk about on the show? What's your show going to be about tomorrow? I don't expect to wake up with a dream where I'm angry and then from there it flows, right? That's kind of something your mind couldn't make up. But because I have learned to allow and be open, it just came that way, and it just gave me a lot of insight and energy, and it made me reflect on some things. So what I really saw from that is that, as you know, I so often talk about allowing, right? The importance and the power of allowing. And then it made me think about a few conversations I've had with a few of my friends and clients, where there is often where people are trying to accept a situation. And I think I wrote about that in my book also, because I remember years ago, I saw it often when I was working with clients, specifically people who are going to what we call satsang. Those are the spiritual non-dual gatherings we have a lot of here in my area. And it's called satsang, in case you haven't heard that. It means actually meeting in truth. It's a Sanskrit word. And I always noticed that people were trying to accept, right, their life, their situation, because that was kind of what they said in Buddhism or in the satsangs, that you needed to accept what is. And I saw there was such a deep, deep misunderstanding in that, because what most people do with that is they try to accept the situation as a situation in their life that is pretty much unacceptable. And what happens then is that you ignore another part of what is, and that is your inner experience. So if you happen to be someone who is trying to accept your life as it is, and that could be anything, that could be something like a relationship you're in that's not good, a work situation with a boss who's not treating you well, it could be a body ailment, it could be some kind of problem you have with your body or emotions, or anything in your community where you notice that something is really unacceptable, the way people are being treated, the way life is unfolding. Could be on a much more global level where you see maybe sex trafficking or the rainforest being cut down or anything like that. Now you can go to this place where you have learned to accept it And it was interesting because I was going for a walk with a friend the other day, and she actually said, I want to get to the place where I accept everything. So just think about that for a moment. If that's something that you're striving for, a place where you accept everything. I think it's very much a Buddhist, a spiritual truth maybe, or concept, or I don't know quite what to call it right now, but there is something in us that are striving for that. I know for myself in the past, I had that too, and because there was something in me that thought, I need to be able to accept everything and everybody. That's when you live at peace. And I want to just put it out right now, kind of, I want to make some space to question that and say, is that really true? Is it really true that we need to accept everything as it is? Why do we need to accept everything as it is? Well, you might say, well, because everything is God. So if this is what is, it must be God. So I must accept it. And I have heard spiritual teachers say that. So I know that concept. And, it's only a half truth. Okay, so I'm not dismissing that. I will agree when you can accept everything as it is, there's a lot of peace there. It takes away of a lot of the tension if you are fighting what is, right? So it's, in a way, accepting what is can be the opposite of fighting what is, where you're just trying to change things with a lot of anger and, energy that is just opposing it, but not necessarily with a good result. So, there's so much I can say about this. As you know, I always talk about allowing. Allowing in itself is not the goal. Allowing is the antidote for resisting. Okay? So it's learning to see that when we take on some kind of a spiritual practice, it is our separate sense of self that can use certain methods to unhook itself from the duality. But it's not the goal. It's a tool. And it's very important to understand the difference. So if learning to accept life as it is something that you're really moved to do from within, I would totally trust that, because that can be a very, very important step on your way. But it's not going to take you to the end of the road. But it's a very important step, and that's why I'm not making this wrong at all. But I want you to know that this is not the end all. We do have the serenity prayer, and I know a lot of people live by it and deeply, deeply benefit from it, and it's powerful. You probably know that the serenity prayer goes, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference, right? So there is that part where there is the courage to change the things that you can change, and then the wisdom to know the difference. And that is actually where it comes down to learn the difference and not get stuck in one groove where you think you need to accept everything as it is, because you don't. If somebody comes and breaks into your house and steals everything, do you really think you need to accept that? If somebody comes, or you walk along the road and somebody comes and mugs you, or you're walking your dog and somebody comes and kicks your dog, you don't need to accept that, right? There are a lot of things we do not need to accept. Now we can go to a bigger picture and accept the fact that people still, most of us still live on a pretty unconscious level. Yes, we kind of have to accept that is how it is. But we do not need to get stuck in that and think that this is how it's going to be forever, because it's not true. And I want to just add to this thing here about when you accept things in your life, most of the time we're doing it in order to get peace, to feel peace. But many times an acceptance can simply be a resignation. We're resigning because we don't know what else to do. So just look at this for a moment. If you are trying to accept things, is it really an acceptance from an open heart where you are at peace and bring peace to that situation? By you accepting it in that place in your heart, that something transforms in you, that then that energy that you bring to the situation will transform the situation. But if you are accepting from a place of resignation, you're still stuck. Nothing has changed. You're just kind of putting a lid on something inside of you that doesn't know what else to do. And even though you might still feel a lot of anger, resentment, whatever, sadness, what do you do with those? Remember that those are just as much part of the situation and part of what is. And they need to be accepted too. And that's where I go to the place, instead of accepting them, I go to allowing them. Because when you just accept them, that could be you close the door for anything better or bigger or new to unfold. And so there's a big difference between allowing and accepting. Allowing is an open door where you stop resisting. And then that energy that you used to put into resisting can now be used to listening, right? Now you allow your experience. If that's anger, you allow that experience of anger to be felt inside of you. Just like I did this morning when I woke up with this anger and I was listening to it. It's like, oh, it's this, there's a lot of unfairness, right? And there's something in me that is not okay with that. I mean, I can accept, let's say, this dentist in the dream for being unconscious and out of integrity or whatever. That's where he is. But I don't accept that as being okay. But I can allow my experience, and then I listen to that experience. And right now, what I need to allow is that we are coming to the half of the hour, and we are just going to start on a break in a short moment. So we are going to keep talking about this in a little bit. And in the meantime, I want to invite you to just check out my website at www.lilarose.com, LILLAROSE.com, where you can read more about the work that I do. And now we're going to go on break.
Awakened Radio Network is brought to you by our sponsors. Visit and let them know you heard about them here on the Awakened Radio Network. Do you have health and medical problems the regular medical system cannot seem to figure out how to fix? If the answer is yes, then check out RifeEnergyMedicine.com. That is Rife spelled R-I-F-E. RifeEnergyMedicine.com for a new way to approach many of your health problems. RifeEnergyMedicine.com. Are you looking for a fun and easy and productive way to promote and advertise your personally owned business? If so, the Awakened Radio Network just might have the solution for you. Visit awakenedradio.net and look up under our products and services tab. Or add Awakened Radio to your Skype contact and send Donna Devane, the station owner, a message. Or you can add DonnaDevane@gmail.com to your email contacts and send Donna an email letting her know that you would like to set a time to go over how to advertise your business in a way that makes getting sales easy without the struggle and a whole lot of fun. Do you have a message, something that just burns within you that you couldn't stop talking about even if someone offered to pay you to? Well, you just might be the type of host that we're looking for here on the Awakened Radio Network. Add Awakened Radio to your Skype contacts or send Donna Devane, the station owner, a message, DonnaDevane@gmail.com. And let's set up a time to talk and see if you and Awakened Radio Network are on the same consciousness wavelength. We might can work together and provide a win-win where your message goes out on our airwaves, reaching our global listeners, bringing fun, self-growth, and a whole lot of excitement to both your life and the Awakened Radio family.
Hello and welcome to Evolutionary Women Radio Show with Pernilla Little Rose, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Evolutionary Women Radio. And this is your host, Pernilla Little Rose, and we will continue the conversation about allowing, accepting, and anger. Because anger is a big part of it, you know. When you accept something that is not true for you, you can be sure that there's going to be anger underneath. There's something in you that's going to be rebelling because you are not being true to your deeper truth, right? To the deeper wave that's coming in. If we're accepting and it's simply not going to work. So I know many people are trying to accept what is, believing or thinking that it's the right thing to do. But it is not, it might be a situation. But for the most part, it might be more than this. It could be an outcome on something that's because you don't know what else to do. Not because something happened to the truth of something. Underneath you that wants something else. Then you can put your energy, you take your energy out of the old way, and you put it in the new, and then you ride with that, then you move with that, and that can be exciting even though you don't know what's going to happen. What I often see is that how should I say that? If you probably heard about the whole term of awakening, where you're waking up to the truth, to who you really are, that you're not all these little identities that you have been identified with. But when you start waking up to your true identity, something big shifts inside of me. Trust me, it's a new energy that you suddenly realize that you are. But if you do not follow that energy and listen to it very, very tenderly and tentatively, then you miss the boat and you might go back to sleep. Because if you put a layer of, I'm accepting life as it is, on top of this new energy that wants to take form and shape in a different way than what you are accepting, you're blocking your own unfolding of how your awakeness wants to express itself. So it's kind of like when you accept things like that, you are falling asleep in your own awakeness. That's funny, isn't it? You can actually fall asleep in your own awakeness, and boy, is that ever true. I have seen plenty of people do that, and plenty of myself too, because we all do it. Again, it's not something we can avoid, because we still need to bring up this old energy, this old wave that has been moving through every cell and every pore in our life. We need to cleanse ourselves of that. We don't want to accept it, right? If you've been living in this really murky, muddy water, and then suddenly you come out of it, and you have the opportunity to go under this beautiful waterfall with fresh, vibrant, new, clean water. You want to be cleaned up. You want to let all that old murky stuff just run off you. You don't want to accept it. But that's what a lot of us have learned actually in the spiritual circles, to accept everything. And boo-hoo, not on my account anymore, I can tell you that. Because, when you try to accept something that is out of resonance with your deepest truth, you're still living in duality. And it's not going to make you happy. It's so easy to use any spiritual concepts to our own demise, to our own limitation. Instead of being liberated by it, many of them we actually use to stay stuck in duality, to stay stuck in the mud, to stay stuck in the veil. And if we don't see them, we won't change. We won't get out of it. So if you are somebody who wants to get to the place where you accept everything, I would just question that, or at least inquire into yourself. What does that mean to you? And why do you want that? What do you think that's going to do for you or the world? Do you think it's helpful for the way the world looks if we all just accept it? Then nothing is going to change, right? We're just going to keep spraying chemicals out on the planet, and I don't even need to go into all the things that are happening. If we just accept that, then nothing is going to change, and our beautiful, beautiful planet might go under. Although I don't believe that. I believe the people who are on it are probably going to be the ones that are going to go under, all of us. But it doesn't have to be like that. We can start bringing this new awakeness, this new awareness that we have as the clean, cleansing water, and start cleansing all the areas that we thought we needed to accept. Now, again, it's so important to understand the difference between accepting and allowing. Okay, because if we just accept, it can be dead water if nothing changes. But if you learn to allow what is in your experience, So that means you're not resisting it. When you take your energy out of the resistance and just allow whatever situation you are to be as it is, then you put your energy on your deeper truth. And I know I repeat myself over and over, but it is so important to understand the difference. This is how I have gotten most of myself. I think most of myself. I don't know how much is left in the veil. But I've been using what I call the ALL formula, A-L-L. Allow, listen, love. In order to get out of the grip of the veil, I learned to allow it to be the way it is. And then my liberated energy, I would start listening to myself like, well, this is not right. This veil is not how I want to live. But I'm not going to fight it or resist it anymore. I'm just going to let it be. It's going to do its thing. And I'm going to put my awareness, I'm going to put my attention on the deeper movement inside of me. Right? It's like, okay, let the old wave that's on its way out, let it just complete itself. Let it let it just, break at the end, at the beach. Let it break. Let it become a total mess. And I'm going to allow that. And I'll be happy to clean up the mess and to help it be easier. But I'm listening to this deeper wave inside of me that is so strong, and I do not want to resist it anymore. I want to go with that. So that's what you use. You use the O formula. Allow, listen, love, to unhook yourself from the veil. So you can get out of the veil, and then you can bring in the energy that is needed, the light that is needed for the darkness of the veil to be enlightened too, or to wake up too, right? You bring light to the darkness so it can wake up. In the veil, the people who are so stuck and identified in the veil, they need a lot of light, right? It's dark in there. It needs light. These people need light. And the way we bring light is by being the light. Because we listen to the light inside of us that's shining brighter and brighter. We listen to that, and we bring that to any situation. If we have a conversation with somebody who is living in this dark place, you may need to tone down your light a little bit so it's not going to be too bright for them, because then they are going to resist you, right? But this light, the more you are in touch with your own light, with your own wisdom, right? When you listen to that inside of you, it will tell you what to say, how to say it, or even maybe not to say anything. So we are not here to accept something that is unacceptable. We are not here to accept something that actually needs to be addressed. But we're also not here to resist or fight it. That's not the answer either. We are here to bring the light that we are, which has all the wisdom and the guidance and the tools needed to change any situation that we perceive as unacceptable. And there's many situations like that, and it could be, it could be the pollution of the planet, the way women are being treated, the way children are being raised, the way the school system is happening, the whole medical industry. I mean, it's just like, it's on and on and on. We can probably write a whole library about what needs to happen. But don't let that overwhelm you. Don't let that overwhelm you. Just go inside and find your light. You may have one little light that needs to shine on a certain situation in the world, or you may have a huge light that needs to shine on a whole continent. Who knows? And who cares? The most important thing is that you learn to listen to it and let that guide you, so that you will allow your light to shine, right? Or you will allow this new wave, this new energy to come in. You allow it. You just go with it. It's like this wave. You don't need to steer the wave. You just need to get on board and surf with it. It will tell you exactly where you need to be. But we need to learn to listen. And that's why in order to, if we just accept the darkness, we are actually stuck in the darkness. It doesn't really matter if you accept it, if you accept the darkness, or if you resist the darkness. Either way, you are stuck in the darkness. You are stuck in the veil. And we don't want that. We want to bring the light. Yes, it will give you more peace if you accept it. And that's beautiful. And if you need that for a while, please do so. If that helps you to find more peace in yourself, then in that peace, you can start listening. It's kind of like with the allowing versus resistance, right? I guess it is the same. You can say you accept versus fighting something, right? If you stop the fighting, that gives you peace and it feels good. Now, don't use this peace as a sleeping pill to go back to sleep again. That's not it. But use this peace so you can listen to your deeper truth. Because all the peace does, or all the spaciousness does, if you allow, it gives you the opportunity to open up to a deeper truth, to the new wave coming in, to the wisdom that's residing there, that wants to express itself in a new way here on planet Earth. So whatever you use, if you learn to allow versus resist, use the space that's created to get in touch with spirit, with your essence, with your wisdom. And if it helps you to stop fighting, right, by accepting a situation, great. It gets you out of the situation. But use that new energy to bring something more constructive, more light, more helpful to the situation. So if you have a question about this, you can always email me. You can find information about everything I do on my website, which is lillarose.com, LILLAROSE. And there is a place there where it says contact me, and you can just email me if you have anything you have questions about. I would love to support you in this. This is very, very alive in my heart, if you haven't noticed the way I talk about it. And I think it's something that the more of us are able to listen and not just accept a situation that is unacceptable. So this accepting, it covers many, many areas that we try to accept. It could be that you are trying to accept a disease, or you might be trying to accept a poverty situation you're in, or it could even be an abusive situation, a relationship, a workplace, a living situation. It could be anything like that, and what we often try to do is accept it, right? Because you're trying to make the best out of a bad situation that you're stuck in, or you think you're stuck in. So acceptance can be a dangerous strategy to use if you don't understand the full depth of it. And when I mention, accepting a disease or poverty, yes, it might be helpful to accept it so you don't fight it. But when you really listen to a deeper truth, is it really right? that we're supposed to be sick and lacking and being abused. Is that really how you think love wants you to live? You know, the more I've been getting out of the veil, or piercing through the veil, or maybe I should say the more the veil that I have been identified with is getting thinner and thinner and thinner, I see so much more clearly. And things that I used to believe because the veil in front of my eyes was so thick with beliefs such as, well, disease, you know, that's just how it is here on earth. Everybody, you know, is going to get sick and die. And, well, there just isn't enough good, healthy food for everyone, or people just can't, you know, afford it. You know, there was all these things that were just veil upon veil of lies and lies and lies. And the reason I speak much more firmly about it now than I did even a year ago is because when I see through this veil and see that there is no truth in it, then I go like, well, what is true then? You know, what is true? And then I go inside and I listen. It's like, what is true is that we are meant to be healthy. We are meant to have vibrant, healthy bodies. Because if you think of it outside of the veil, we are spirit. We are light. We are love. And that is the truth of who we are. And in that, there is no darkness. But not as a concept. I'm not trying to speak concepts here. And I just want to see here, there is a question from Nori that says, Pernilla is allowing and surrendering into something the same. Nori, it's a tricky question. It can be. It can be. It depends how you surrender. Because when I talk about allowing, I use it as a way to stop resisting. If we use surrendering for the same, if that helps you getting out of a state of resisting or rebelling or fighting something, then you create a space. You see, what I'm here to, what I'm trying to convey here is that we want to create this space. The space that happens when you stop resisting because you allow. The space that happens when you stop fighting because you surrender. It doesn't really matter what we use. As long as we don't use, like for instance, I'm not saying you should allow, anybody to treat you badly. That's not what I mean by allowing. The same with accepting. You shouldn't accept a bad situation. You should use it as a way to create a space so you can listen to a deeper truth inside of you. And then once that starts emerging, then you need to go with that. Then you need to hitch a ride on that new wave that's moving through you when you're not resisting it, when you're not trying to pacify it because you just want to accept what is, right? So if surrendering to you helps you to let go of whatever you were fighting before or resisting or whatever, then the space that is created, right? What happens when you surrender? That's kind of the question. What happens when you surrender? Do you feel peace? Do you feel more ease? And if you answer yes to that, then use that space or that more ease to be your wisdom. What shall I call it? That's where your wisdom is coming from. So now you have a space where you're not fighting or resisting. Now you have created a space of spaciousness, and now you can listen and say, okay, I know that's not right for me. I'm surrendering to it because I'm not going to fight it. And then in that wisdom space you have created, you might feel, sense, hear, you need to leave this situation. It's not good for you. Or you may hear, I need to speak my truth in this situation, and I need to speak it in this way so that this person can hear it. Not to change this person, but for me to speak my truth. For me to stay so centered in my truth. Because I'm listening to this inside. I'm not out there fighting the veil or the illusion or the people who are stuck in it. No, I'm bringing in my light into the veil because I know the veil has no power over me. I know the only power is my truth inside. So I hope that's helpful, Lori, here right at the end of the show. Feel free to connect with me if you want to chat more about it at some other time. But I hope that helps you to know that the surrendering part is here to help you create a space where your wisdom can come through. So, I'll hear from Lori. So stay fully present with the situation, within the situation. Allow the way you feel, but do not judge the feelings. Oh, yes, honey, absolutely. Never judge your feelings. They're wise. They're your source of wisdom. But you have to listen to them deeply, right? Like this anger I woke up with this morning. It's like, wow, I didn't judge myself for being angry. So, I'm not spiritual. I shouldn't have anger. I should accept this dentist who was blah, blah, blah. I know, I listened to this. Like, oh, yeah, there's something that's not right here. And then, like, this whole show came out of that. So never, ever judge your feelings. Listen to them and educate them. Love them. Find out what they need. Yeah. Thank you. Back to you. Blessings to you. And, boy, here we're having so much fun, and there's only a few more minutes left till the top of the hour. So I'm sure there's a lot more we can talk about, this whole concept of allowing and accepting and the anger that comes when you are not being true to yourself. When you're trying to accept something that's not your truth, then you get anger. And what are you going to do with the anger then, You're going to accept that too, and then you go around barking at people? I don't think so. So, yeah, I would love to talk more about this. If you want to stay connected with me, please go to my website. You can sign up. You can just put your name and your email address on there, and then you'll stay connected with the shows, what I'm talking about here. If any changes happen, if I offer any new things, you can find out what the products that I have. And this is everything I do is to help you get in touch and get in full alignment with you. So my products, my books, my tapes, my CDs, my classes, that's all I'm about. So there's so much help on my website if you need it, and you can always sign up for one of what I call a discovery session, and we can find out if there's, what kind of support you need in order to come back fully in your own alignment, in your own truth, and start living from that new wave that we talked about in order to get out of the old and start bringing in the new. So there we have it, my friends. Top of the hour. Here we go. It's been wonderful to be with you again, and I wish you all a beautiful day filled with love for yourself, listening to your own wisdom, and being the light that you are. You already are the light if you just listen to it. And then bring that light to the world. Wouldn't that be fun? We all walk around like little lights, and the darkness simply starts dissolving. My friends, blessings to you all, and I'll be back next week, and I wish you all a beautiful week. Be well.
Open, showing our inside and light so bright. We are awakened. Come and join our love, it's so right. If you could feel what we feel now, you'd be a leader filled with mind, 'cause we're awakened. You won't